Hey, good afternoon, everybody. CJ Van Sluytman, CJ Goes Unleashed. Welcome to my channel. 27-year landlord, entrepreneur, developer, play Xbox with the tenants kind of guy. Today we're talking about squatters, and we're back on this because I've been watching some videos today, and a lot of you folks who subscribed to me on my, basically, which was my first video a few days ago. I guess you guys want to know more about squatting, and first we're just going to start off. For if you're new to the channel here, this is a brand new channel. This is only my second video on this channel, guys, and the reason I have this channel is because there's certain things I want to discuss, but I can't on my other channel because it's a totally different, clean channel, and on this channel I can say whatever I want. So we're going to start with squatters. By the way, we're flooding here in Pennsylvania today, so I'm sure there are going to be a lot of squatters trying to find some shelter. But here in Pennsylvania, the squatter situation is not as bad as it is in California or in New York. Why? Because the laws are a little bit different. Is it worse than Florida? Yeah, it's worse than Florida because Florida just introduced new laws to get rid of squatters who post fake leases. But what is a squatter to start with? A squatter is someone comes into your property. You could be gone for a day, basically. You could be gone to lunch, and you could come back, and you could have somebody who got into your property, locked your doors, maybe even changed the locks, and if they planned ahead, they know exactly what to do. They have a fake lease. They produce a fake lease. So when you come back to your house and people are inside your crib, you're like, what's cracking? Who are you? Like, what are you doing in my house? And the people say, well, you know, we rented the house from somebody. And you're like, you what? And they say, yeah, look, here's our lease and everything, you know, and they bust out this fake lease, and they're like, you know, Susan Smith rented to us off the internet. And you're standing there like, who? This is not Susan Smith's house. This is my house. You guys need to get out. You know what they say? They say, no, because we already paid our, this is our place now. Who are you? We already paid for our security deposit and our first month's rent and our second month's rent, or our last month's rent. And you're looking at them and you're like, really? How did that happen? Because Sandra Smith or whoever doesn't own this house. And they say, well, that's who we wrote our contract with. Here it is. And many times, what the police will do when you call them, because you're going to call them, right? Because you don't know what the hell is going on. You're going to call the police, and the police are going to go and 5 minutes later come back to you and say, well, we talked with the folks that are inside, and it looks like those folks are your tenant now, you know? They have a lease. They signed a lease, and they showed us a lease, or they showed us a power bill or an electric bill or a gas bill or a water bill in their name. And you're thinking, how in the fuck could this happen? But see, these people, they're not homeless, right? Homeless are different. Homeless people would probably rather sleep outside or sleep on your roof. They won't break into your house. Squatters are professionals. They're professional. When I was younger, in my early 20s, I heard the term professional tenants, right? And basically what those were people who would come into your property, give you a down payment, like a first, the last security, and you go catch that shit and it bounces. So you go back to them and you're like, hey, Steve and Mary, Bill and Mary, whoever you are, you know your check bounced. Like, oh man, you know, my brother died last week. The dog ate my homework last night. My mom's gonna die tomorrow. I can't pay you. So they become, in essence, your squatters. And now you have to go through the legal process of getting them out because they are your tenant. Well, it works the exact same way if you have squatters who just come into your place, even for a day, the first day or second day they're there. As long as they have something showing that they're supposed to be there, which is usually bullshit, they make it up, right? But what can you do about it? There is nothing you can do about it. Cops not going to help you. The cops can tell you, sorry, it's a civil matter. And now you're Mr. Landlord, Mrs. Landlord, it's your only rental property, or you got 2 rental properties, good for you, you're a big shot. And you're like, what the hell do I do? So you got to go to court, right? Who makes all the money? The attorneys make all the money. Now, while the attorney's making the money, trying to get these folks out, you might be going to court 15 times, and every time you do, the judge will find a reason for a continuance, or he'll bench that docket for a month or 2 months, especially in California and New York. If you're in Florida, if you're in Georgia, they're changing the laws and they're making it much easier that if someone presents a fake lease, it's a felony, number one. So you go to prison. If you've already got a record, you're definitely going to prison. And number two, if you are there unlawfully, you don't have to go through the whole eviction process like you do in California, where it's going to cost you 10 grand, 20 grand, maybe 2 years for you to get these fucking scumbags out of your, excuse my language, for you to get these folks out of your place. And while I'm driving right now in the rain and you're driving, or you're sitting at home watching this and listening to this, there's squatters entering properties all over the southern United States because of this illegal dude Moreno, or whatever, Lionel Moreno. I don't want to give him clout, but I'm going to show a picture. So if you see this guy's face, you can punch him as hard as you can. Luckily, he was arrested a couple of days ago, and he's in jail right now. And his girlfriend's all crying, she can't find him. He had 4 million people on TikTok watch his video about how to steal your house and my house. So there's another case in New York where this last week, where a lady went on vacation. She went on a Caribbean cruise or whatever cruise. She gets back home. She walks into her apartment in New York. Nobody hears from her for like 2-3 days. And then the building manager, a very soft-spoken, nice guy, he was shocked to do a wellness check, and the police found her body stuffed inside of a duffel bag in her closet. And guess who they caught? They didn't catch him in New York. They caught him somewhere else. I don't remember where. But they caught 2 squatters that with really fucked up hair. Wait till I'm gonna find a picture. I'm gonna put it up here. I don't know who has hair like that, but it wasn't the Island Boys, but it might be the cousins to it was the Island Girls. I heard it was 2 girls, or I saw it was 2 chicks that were squatting in this woman's house. And instead of just leaving, they murder the poor woman. So what do you do? What are you gonna do? Are you going to go through the whole process, or are you going to go fight for your properties? Go watch some other videos. Go watch some other YouTube videos. And maybe you could take some advice from my man Flash Shelton. He's really good at this stuff about removing squatters. But over 27 years, I've removed a lot of squatters myself. And there are special techniques that you can use. I'm going to tell you one right now, because I asked you if you did a lot of likes in the other video, that I was going to throw this up. And I was going to tell you one of the ways. So one of the ways is, boom, here you go. I own the home, okay? I have a squatter that comes into my house. I basically have to stay out of it. My wife can't do anything. She's on my LLCs. She owns the homes with me. What I can do is I can hire somebody, and I can hire somebody to become my tenant. So what I do is I bring somebody in, a third party, doesn't matter who it is, could be your uncle, could be your friend, could be me, could be Flash Shelton, could be somebody else. What you do is you write a lease with us. You hand us the key. We know the key not going to work, right? So what we do is we go to the property. Once we go to the property, we show the tenant our lease. Now, if you want to avoid police, I don't like involving police in things. I've had them involved before, and things seem to go awry many times when police get involved and start asking all kinds of questions. So if you want to avoid the police, what you're going to do is do this on your own, and you can have a lot of fun with it too, because it can be really, really fun. So here's what you do. You get that lease, you go over to the property, you knock on the door, and you say to them, hey, what are you doing here? Are you cleaning the house or something? And they're like, no, I live here. And you said, no, you don't, because I have a lease. And they say, well, I have a lease. And you say, well, okay, I don't believe you have a lease, but I know I have a valid lease from the owner. So here's what we're gonna do, pal. I'm gonna move in, okay? I like this bedroom back here, and I'm gonna move into this bedroom. And by the way, I have a rock band, and we play like really, really loud. So my boys are coming over. We're gonna take bedroom number 3 back here with the bathroom, right? So they're stopping, you try to get in, you push your way in, you get inside the property. Don't touch them, don't assault them, but find your way inside the property. Sometimes what I would do is I would coax them outside before I'd even tell them I was a tenant. And I would say, hey, you got something going on over here? Or, hey, did you see what happened? Come outside for a second. I'll run inside the house, lock the door. So if they want to break in, they want to come through a window or whatever, sure, be my guy. I'm not calling the cops yet. That's the next video if you guys want to know how to engage with the police. So these folks, they break back in, or they get back in the house, and you're already in the house. You're moving your stuff in. You're moving your drum kit, moving your amp, your guitars. You start playing your guitars, and you say to them, they say, you need to get out of our house. No. I have the lease. I have the key. And then you say to them, by the way, I'm deathly afraid of bugs. So I'm going to bug bomb this place. I brought me 60 bug bombs. I'm going to put them all around the house. You guys can chill. You can sit, watch your Netflix and relax, or watch YouTube and watch me on YouTube and see what I'm doing to you. And I'm going to blow off these bug bombs, guys. So I blow off the bug bombs. Guess what? Do you think they're going to stay? You think they're going to sit through 60 bug bombs? Did I get creative? Did I try and be a fucking tough guy and take the door off and don't do that shit. Don't get creative. Don't be an asshole. Always be nice. Always be diplomatic. Even when somebody's in your face, be diplomatic. And remember, you now have a legal right to be on that property. 99.9% of the time, in my experience, when I've done this, or I put one of my guys to stay on the property, especially in apartment buildings, we used to do this in central Pennsylvania and western Pennsylvania a lot in the 2010s, just before COVID. We would send one of the guys in. He'd go in there, he'd blast music, he'd blow off bug bombs, he'd do air horns. He would do everything to get rid of the tenants. And this one time, I'll tell you guys a quick story before I hope this was valuable to you and helps you understand that you do have rights besides police and court. Stay away from those two the most you can. There was this one time, it was like 2010, 2011, and my wife went to one of our apartment buildings in New Kensington, PA, which is a shithole. And if you live in New Ken, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. I don't have properties there anymore. I dumped them all, seriously. But we went to New Kensington. She went to New Kensington, and she found 2 squatters in Unit 2 downstairs. And she chased them off, actually. I won't tell you how, but she chased them off. She got rid of them. But what she did do, and she made a huge, huge mistake. Be careful. Be so, so careful, folks. She found a backpack in the property. And she took the backpack, and my little one, Star, was like maybe a year old. So it's going back like 14 years ago. Star was like a year old, and King was on the way in her belly. And she picked up the backpack, put it in her truck. And a couple hours later, she said to me, hey, I took a backpack. And I was like, oh, don't worry about it. We forgot about it for like 3 weeks and sat in the back seat. So my buddy Tom's Gilchrist, Speedy shows up, and he's a cop, and he's a friend of mine. So, I said to him, hey, Speedy, I got some, he showed up at the apartment building, actually, and I was doing another wellness check on somebody about 2 weeks later. And I said, hey, Speedy, I got this backpack that Stace got from squatters that were sitting in Unit 2 about 2-3 weeks ago. And he says, let me see it. He opens it up. I almost fucking died. It had heroin, bags of heroin. It had spoons. It had needles. It had the shit that you tie around your arm. I never did any of that shit in my life. But when I saw it, I almost dropped to the ground. I thought I was going to die. And I said to Tom, what would have happened if Stace got pulled over? And he said, well, it's hers. She would have gone to jail. I said, no fucking way. She would have gone to jail. He goes, yeah. He goes, we know, and cops probably know it's not hers, but they'd still have to arrest her. You'd still have to live with the shame of having your name in the newspaper and having to go to court and spend money and just the 3 months or 6 months to clear your name. And he said the best thing to do is never, ever, ever touch anything that's inside of a squatter's apartment, because you never know if it's fucking heroin, right? Like it was for us. So my advice to you folks is, when you do get these people out, don't start becoming all looky-loo and start looking through people's shit. That's how you get fentanyls on your fingers, and you get the heroin on your fingers, and then it goes in your face, and then that's how you guys knock out, or you knock out. So please, folks, if you take anything from this video, once you do get your squatters out, please have the police come through and look through all the stuff, and make sure you put on some fat-ass rubber gloves, because if you don't, and I've been touched before, and so have my guys, and so have police officers I've worked with. If you look at some of my other videos on my other channel, we had a huge thing of pills and drugs that somebody left behind in one of my apartments. And if you're interested in seeing that, I'll throw it up on the screen here, and you can actually check out my other channel. You probably won't like it, but I hope you got something out of this today. And thanks for watching, and happy hunting for your squatters. And if you needed more advice, I'm going to put my link in description inside the bio thing, and you guys can contact me directly if you want some further advice or help. Have a wonderful day. God bless you.